I'm here at the Cleveland Library. We're playing game, whatever it is, 17, 18, somewhere in there of the match right now, and I have snuck away for a few minutes to show you the exhibit that they're doing on checkers. Hope to get into the archives a little bit later, but for now there's some great stuff here on display. There's all sorts of angles. Unfortunately, all the pieces are run in black, but we'll forgive them for the moment. We start out here with, of course, the match. Decent pictures of Alex and Mickey, and little mini biographies of each player. The library's really done a good job of supporting the match and promoting it, and they put together this little room to show kind of the cultural impact of checkers. Here we have just a selection of checkers in advertisements, sponsorships, an old Harper's Weekly, and some kind of Americana of that. I think these are the only officially colored pieces in the exhibit. Maybe we can rectify that and get them some things to replace the red and blacks. In this case, we have information about computer checkers, of course a copy of Schaefer's book, One Jump Ahead. And this is another book called Blondie 24, Playing on the Edge of AI, about computer checkers. Tinsley Chinook match, and so on. The rest of the cases are mainly devoted to checkers literature of various sorts, starting in the modern day era. Of course, Alex Moiseyev's Sixth, which you should all buy and read before you play him in a match. More recent stuff, the Ohioan Yearbook that Rich Beckwith put together, and some old material on Ohio checkers. Some of the titles you'll Probably recognize here. Some of them are older stuff. Here are a couple of rather old books, looks like from the 1920s. And they have the rules set out here so you can play along. All the boards are numbered, which is nice. This is basically the board that I had when I started out playing before I knew any better. There's also a large collection of newspaper clippings, and these are particularly valuable because they're hard to keep track of. These tend to get thrown out much more often than books, and so it's always a treat to see what people have saved, what they've maintained. Here we have everything from checkers cartoons to columns, and we're hoping to restart some of those columns later. This is a nice piece. This is a poster from a Willie Ryan exhibition. You can see how an expert plays checkers, and Ryan, one of his classic poses. Of course, some textbooks will be very familiar to you. The Pioneer System by Reisman, and Mitchell's Checkers, which makes the rounds of the used books fairly often. You can play checkers on the beach. I'm not sure if the girls are included or not, but we can find out. And the rest of this is mainly match books. So Jim Loy's recent book on Richard Jordan. These are the Long Hunt match games. Wendemuth's book. And, several others here. I'll make the rounds and show you. The Louder piece. And apparently there's this guy called Tinsley. I guess you've probably heard of him. We also have some manuscripts, and these are probably too blurry to read through the case, but some really valuable play in here because you usually make these for play that's not in the books. A whole lot of interesting games. You can learn as much about the players from their annotations as you can from how they play. Hoping to get into some of the rare book stuff later on in the day. Just some other introductory material over here. Looks like a old cartoon British, probably in Punch, 19th century. And this is a catalog of the collections of checkers literature published, I would guess, maybe the turn of the 20th century, probably a little earlier. Finally, some books on checkers in languages other than English. Very old stuff here. Philidor's book on, I believe, Polish checkers from 1785. 17th century French book on checkers. And 1618 Torquemada's book. Finally, this is just an overview of the John White Checkers collection. Mr. White started this with a big donation, and it's kind of grown from there. An early catalog. Fortunately, the catalogs are on the computer now, so it's a little easier to find. But I'll be in the collection later on during this match, and hopefully be able to show you some video and photos of some really nice older stuff that you can't find anymore on the used or collector's market. So if you get a chance, you should certainly come down here to Cleveland. You can watch Alex and Mickey play a couple games, and you can just take a look at the fantastic collection at the Cleveland Public Library.